remember, we value your feedback, we value your input, and we would love to hear from you as the show progresses. 080-991-20777 is the number you can call. That's also our WhatsApp line, 080-991-20777. You can also call 091-538-77127. Of course, as the show progresses, we'll be giving you traffic updates from our live camera feeds, also from our traffic managers all around the Lagos metropolis, and yes, from the control room. So know that you, even as you get to know about youth development and social, the Ministry of Youth and Social Development, you would also get the much needed traffic information to help you navigate all around the Lagos metropolis. And yes, straight away we go into the show. I will be introducing my guest at this time, or rather guests, yes, because we actually have three very special guests with us in the studio. Yes, do not forget, we're also live on YouTube. So if you want to see their faces, you can go on YouTube, okay? So Traffic Radio 961, join the conversation. You could type in your comments and we will definitely respond to you via that platform. Facebook is also a way to go. Yes, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. We are live. You can also be part of the conversation. All right, enough said. Please join me as we welcome our guests into the studio. We'll be talking about youth, the youth. So it's for those who know about the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. You know, there are a few departments, and one of them is the youth department. So our guests are actually primarily from that department today. So with us in the studio, we have okay, so will I say in a particular order? Yes, okay, so I have, first of all, let's just get that correctly. All right, so sorry about that. I just had to, dot my I's and cross my T's. With us in the studio, we have Mr. Saka Abdul Lateef. He is Director Youth Development in the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Great to have you on the show with us. And I hope traffic wasn't so much coming in.
Not really.
Okay, so alongside him, joining us in the studio, we have Mr. Olukosi Julius Folashayo. He is the Deputy Director to Youth Development in the Department of Ministry, in the Youth Development Department, in the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. You are welcome, sir.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
So, please, I'd like for you to come close to the microphone, so we can get you more clearer, better, so to say. And joining them, we also have, for purposes of gender equality, it wouldn't be nice if we have just men in the studios. We have Mrs. Orasai Vera. I hope I pronounced that correctly. She is the Deputy Director Youth Development in the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. You're welcome.
Good evening, all. Thank you very much.
Okay, so it's great to have you three in the studio with us, focusing on the youth department. So there, youths out there, this program is about you. We would like your input. We'd like for you to listen in, and we would also love to hear what you think, and any other thing you'd love to know about this department right in the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. So straight away, we'll be delving into the topic. So first of all, but my first question to our director, yes, Mr. Saka Abdul Lateef. What is the youth department? What is their core focus? What is it all about?
Thank you very much. Good evening once again.
Yes.
The department.
Yes.
Youth Development Department.
Yes.
Is created.
Okay.
And is created purposely.
Okay.
To promote youth activities in the state.
Youth activities in the state. Okay.
Youth development activities is a process which entails a lot of things.
Okay.
But we at the department, we are out to create and promote a leadership and advocacy environment where the capacity and the future of the youth in the state is given a platform to promote, to grow, and to reach their potentials in various fields. So bringing them from where they are to where they are supposed,
where they ought to be,
by providing an enabling environment.
Okay. All right, Mr. Olukosi. So let's talk a bit about how is the department structured? How is it structured?
Yes, thank you very much. Just like the director has said,
yes,
youth development department. For you to even know what youth development is all about itself.
Yes.
So we want to define youth development as a coordinated series of activities designed to helping a young person discover, nurture, and develop his or her innate abilities towards becoming a responsible and productive adult. So in doing this as a youth development department, our department is structured into 5 divisions. Five divisions to enable us to carry out all those activities effectively. One of the units is education and engagement unit. And the second one is voluntary youth organizations and non-governmental relations unit.
All right.
Then we have interministerial and partners relations unit. We have youth center and playground management unit. And we have monitoring and evaluation unit.
All right.
So this is how it is structured, so that all those programs takes place through these 5 units.
So everything that happens has to go through
each of
any of these.
Those.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so Mrs. Orasa Vera, I would like us to pay attention to. Let's talk about the education and engagement unit. Can we talk about that? What are the type of programs and activities implemented by this particular unit? What do they do there?
Just as my Oga said, Director of Youth Development is a continuous process of improving youth programs and activities in the states. The engagement and education units, we look into how to improve the lives of the youth through life skill training and livelihood skill training. This life skill training are leadership training. While the livelihood skill training are training based on vocational training. Making them to be an entrepreneur. Encouraging the youth to promote entrepreneurship. Because most of them, all their thought is how to get a white-collar job. And this white-collar job is not forthcoming.
Yes, everybody cannot do white-collar jobs.
So we need to encourage them to acquire skills. So the education and engagement unit does that for the ministry. And we also encourage the youth to participate in governance. How do we do that? It's through leadership training. We have different types of leadership platforms in the ministry. We have the Ibile Youth Academy. We have the Youth Parliament. We have the Transformational Leadership Training. To mention but a few. So all these platforms, especially the Ibile Youth Academy and the Youth Parliament, we teach the youth how to engage in legislative procedures.
All right. So, going through a few things under the education and engagement. I see you also involved with the donor agencies. You collaborate with the donor agencies. So, how corporate bodies to support youth development programs? How does that happen? How do you do that?
Yeah, government cannot do everything.
On it,
we need to collaborate with private sectors.
Yes.
So there are youth-focused organizations that are interested in helping us to develop the youth of the state. So they come to the ministry, they register with the voluntary and field service units. When they register, they tell us the kind of program that they can collaborate with us. So they support the government in that regard. So we do a lot of collaborative programs with these organizations, youth-focused organizations especially. Like this Lag Up Lagos.
Yes, that we spoke about last week.
Yes. So we are collaborating with a private company.
So that's basically under the education and engagement units, rather.
Yes.
Okay, great. But are there ways, are there metrics? How will you be able to measure the success of these programs, the impacts they have had or they will have on the youth population? I don't know. Let me direct that to my the director. Yes.
Like Mr. Oluko's rightly said the other time, we have 5 units in the department.
Yes.
There's a particular unit called Field Services Monitoring and Evaluation.
Okay.
This unit is responsible to monitor each programs
as they go
to ensure that they are in line with the mandate of the ministry, even before we approve the program.
Okay.
So the program has to be in line with the mandate and also with the mandate of the ministry. At the same time, with the T+ agenda
of
the state,
Mr. Governor.
Yes. So they monitor, and where there's correction,
they will advise.
And after the implementation of the program, they also come with survey to tell us the impact of the program on the youth and how to improve on it next time. There's an opportunity for such.
All right, a great one.
In addition to that,
yes, okay.
Just like my director have said, they also carry out survey. In carrying out this survey, they know the need assessment of different communities where this program are taking place.
The survey department.
Exactly. Because definitely we know the peculiarities of this state. So what youth in Agege may actually need
will definitely be
different from people in Bagada or people in Ekpe. So it is the duty of this unit to sample the opinions of young people, to know how to tailor our programs towards meeting their needs. And at the end of the program, just like the director have said, we also monitor the impact assessment to know how impactful the program is on the youth of that community, so that one will aid us in preparing well in the next budget of the year.
Right. Okay, so that department is the field services, monitoring and evaluation
unit in the department.
Okay. Since we have naturally segued to that department, can you just take us through the process of how do they do the process of monitoring and evaluating this? How do they go about it? You said questionnaires. Are there other methods?
Yes, like during the program, anytime we are rendering a particular vocational program, empowerment program, there's always questionnaire during the program and after the program. We capture their data, so at the end of each program we monitor them, try to locate them where they are and see whether they are using what actually the government has imparted into them.
All right, a quick detour. Let's see what's happening on the roads. So earlier we were told about the fact that it was a busy moving traffic on the, let's see, this is somewhere around the stadium ending was Ujuelegba. There was a broken down loaded tanker with mechanical fault, and a towing van was already on ground for evacuation of that impediment. I have just been reliably informed that the impediment on Ujuelegba Bridge was Abati Barracks is receiving attention at the moment, and traffic is still on the high side at Alaka with a slow movement, and we have traffic managers there visibly doing the needful to make sure things flow as smoothly as possible. Feel free to join the conversation. 080-991-20777 and 091-538-77127. Of course, we have with us Mr. Saka Abdul Lateef, Director of Youth Development, Ministry of Youth and Social Development, alongside Mr. Olukosi Julius Folashayo, who is the Deputy Director Youth Development in the Youth Development Department in the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. And joining them also we have Mrs. Orasai Vera, Deputy Director Youth Development in the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. And we have been talking on the activities, the mandate of the youth department, and they've been able to shine the light on a few of the units. Particularly, we have just spoken about the education and engagement unit, and somehow we naturally went to how do you know that this department is working? How do you know this department is doing what it's supposed to do? How do you check results and all that? And we have moved naturally to the field services monitoring and evaluation department, where we're told how they pass out the surveys. And also, how does the department, do they also, how do they identify training needs for the youth? Do we have like youth development officers, or are they people in the department who, are they also involved with training?
Yes, thank you once again.
Yes, sir.
You see, youth development is huge.
Yes.
And youth development is dynamic in nature. So
it's not static.
It's not static.
Okay.
And when you look at the population of youth in Lagos State,
yes,
continue to increase on a daily basis.
Sure.
So there's no way government alone can handle this. And for effective and impact of the department,
yes,
in the state, we have what is called youth development officers.
Youth development officers.
We normally call them resident youth development officers. These officers are strategically located in each of the 57 local government and local council development in the state.
Okay.
We also have what we call youth centers across the 57 local government and local development, local council development.
So there's one in every.
There is one in each of. In some local government, we have more than one youth centers or playground.
Okay.
So the youth officers there, called resident youth development officers, are shadowed with the responsibility of going to the community. Okay. Aside from youth visiting the centers for recreational and educational activities, they also go in. They partner with the local government. Okay. We have a department in the local government called Agric and Rural Development Department. They liaise with the officers there. At the same time, we have organizations, youth organizations within the community, which our officers liaise with. Through these organizations, through the local government, they are able to tap and know the needs of these youth in the community. We have what is called weekly consultation by these officers. By this, I mean they come to each of these officers come to their quarters to give us reports of what happens, what initiative, what development they have or they know in their locality. They now bring it to the state for us to look into. And like we said earlier,
you can also give recommendations.
Yes. Okay. And like we said earlier, this unit called field services monitoring and evaluation evaluates whatever these field officers bring to the office and give recommendation. Whether we look into we have meetings, head of unit meetings where we look at the recommendations and pass our view to the permanent secretary, whereby the permanent secretary look into it and suggestion is given for implementation.
Okay, that's quite a process, but that's feedback. Get from the very grassroots and all that. Okay, so we will go for a short break just to set one or two things straight, and when we come back we'll take it to the next level. Of course, we have a few other units that we would really want to talk about. I know a few people would want to hear about the voluntary organizations and non-governmental relations unit, which is the next unit we'll be talking about. I know a few people have NGOs, and they would, they want to know the process of how to get this registered. So let's just go for the short break, and when we come back, we'll take it to the next level. Stay close.
Health, education, employment, and quality of life are some important indicators that directly influence social development, and this is often used by government in policy formulation for their citizens' welfare. Citizens' participation and accountability are both essential for social development of any society, and this is why the Lagos State government, through the Ministry of Youth and Social Development, is investing in the development of its people through various intervention and empowerment programs in line with the Themes Plus agenda. For insights on the activities of government, policy formulation, and social inclusion. Tune in to MYSD Spectrum, Ministry of Youth and Social Development Spectrum, a 45-minute program designed to showcase activities of the ministry in line with the themes plus developmental agenda. Join us every Wednesdays at 4:15 to 5 p.m. on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. MYSD Spectrum is powered by the Lagos State Ministry of Youth and Social Development.
Welcome back. It's still MYSD Spectrum, and of course we have been talking about the youth department right there in the ministry, and my guests here with us have been helping us shed light on their activities and every other thing that they do in making sure that the state moves forward, the youths are empowered, and every other thing that has to do with youth is taken to the next level so we can achieve our potential. Now we want to talk about the voluntary organizations and non-governmental relations unit. So I will be directing my question to the Deputy Director, Mr. Koya. I hope I got that correctly. Yes, Olukosi, rather, Mr. Olukosi. So, sir, could you tell us a bit about this ministry, Mr. Olukosi?
Thank you very much. Just like we have highlighted that we have 5 units through which we carry out our activities in the department.
Yes.
Voluntary organizations and non-governmental relations unit is one of the units.
Okay.
And as I'm talking presently to you, we have about 84 voluntary youth organizations and non-governmental relations unit working with the ministry. And we are talking of these voluntary organizations. Who are we referring to? Yes. We are referring to those who are contributing selfless service to the development of young people in the state. And I'm talking of people who volunteers. Okay. Like we have like Boy Scouts is one of the voluntary youth organizations.
How about agencies like say the Red Cross?
Red Cross,
Red Crescent,
Boy Scouts, Boys Brigade, Girls Guide, those are the uniform voluntary youth organizations. We have some faith-based voluntary youth organizations, just like the Ansaruddin Society, the Young Men Christian Association, YMCA, YMWCA, and the rest like that. So we have them across the state. And we have individual NGOs whose activities are focused toward developing young people. So those are the ones we register and work with in the ministry. And overall, we have what we call National Youth Council of Nigeria, which also is the umbrella body of all these voluntary youth organizations in the state. Presently, the National Youth Council of Nigeria, they have about 54 affiliated voluntary youth organizations, and about
registered under them
and the ministry as well. So we work in synergy with this National Youth Council. They have a national body, but in Lagos State chapter, those are the ones we work with. And this National Youth Council coordinates activities of. They serve as an umbrella body for all these youth organizations. And recently, the government through the Ministry of Youth and Social Development, they supervise their elective congress that just usher in new executive of the council that will be paddling the activities of the council for the next 4 years. So those are the ways we work with this organization. This organization is spread across the state. They are located everywhere in the state. So they are originally been formulated. They originally been organized for young people between the age of 5 to 35. For them to teach them virtues. Understand? Virtues that make them dependable, make them reliable, make them to solve social crises in the society. So understand? They instill discipline into the young people. And maybe I wouldn't know. Maybe you are once a Boy Scout.
I was a Boy Scout at some point.
Exactly.
But
so
I didn't know.
I could remember how they train us then when we are younger than this and belong to all these organizations. The major reason is to instill discipline into young
virtues.
And if you can still remember, I remember during the past administration in Lagos State, they felt that some of those virtues are being lost in the society.
True.
So they have to relaunch all these some of these organizations
to bring all these things back
to public schools. Then about 5 organizations were relaunched back to secondary schools then, so that it could be the way it used to be when we are younger, so that discipline can be instilled in the life of these young people. And all those in the area of non-governmental organizations, most of them too, they specialize in empowering and developing young people. So those are the kind of NGOs that we partner with in the ministry.
Yes, sir. Please do that.
The voluntary organizations and NGOs are not just being picked. We don't pick. They apply.
Take us through that process.
Okay.
That was
the process of registration.
Yes.
We look into their activities.
Okay.
And before we now sign to register them, we make what is called impromptu visit to verify their claims.
To know if it's
actually we have guidelines for registration. We give them the guideline, they go through it.
Okay.
Then we make what is called impromptu visit to the organization to ascertain what they claim.
If really they are doing what they say.
Exactly. And if they are not in line with what they claim to do, to be doing, and in line with the agenda of the ministry, we don't register. But if they are in line and they follow the guidelines for registration, we register them. We don't just pick.
And the process of after registering them, just like my director have said, we also make them to submit quarterly reports of their activities.
Okay, well, how about if they run afoul of maybe?
Yes, we sanction them by delisting them from the ministry.
Okay.
Aside from the visiting before registration,
yes,
we give them what is it called? We give them 6 months probation
period.
During this period, we visit before normalizing the registration.
Still impromptu.
Impromptu. Then after the normalization, we also visit, and they are to invite us to any of their programs.
Okay.
We monitor the activities.
We monitor to ensure that they are in line with what they claim they are doing as an organization.
All right. I will be moving to you, Mrs. Oronsai. Of course, we'll be talking about the next unit, which you'll be telling us about. That's the inter-ministerial and partners. What's that all about?
Thank you very much. You know that the Ministry of Youth and Social Development is the custodian of youth in the states.
Yes.
So most of these youth, they come to the ministry to make inquiry what programs we have on ground for them. Not knowing that there are other MDAs that does youth programs also.
Okay.
Like Ministry of Agric.
So how do you address that? We have overlapping.
That is why we created this unit.
Okay.
To interface with these ministries, these relevant ministries that does youth programs and activities. Okay. Like Ministry of Agric.
Yes.
The Lagos State Coconut Authority, Development Authority.
Yes.
We collaborate, we synergize with them. We go into that ministry to know the program they have on ground for the youth. Like the coconut program, coconut chains program. Yes, it's on the pipeline now between the Ministry of Youth Development and Coconut Development Authority. So these are the works that we do. And we also partner with private sectors also. We supervise the program of youth officers on the field. Okay. We have youth development officers in all the local governments across the states. So we encourage them. One of their duties is to perform vocational training program in their community. So we supervise their activities. Okay. We ensure that they do that job. We ask them what program do they have on ground in a particular youth center.
Okay.
We create awareness
about it
on our social media handles.
Okay.
And we also identify likely areas of collaboration with other MDAs.
Okay.
Like Ministry of Commerce.
Yes.
Last time they called us and asked us if we have those people that we have trained that they want to empower them.
Oh, okay.
We also
collaborate. So you have a database.
Yes, we have a database
of
those people that we have trained.
Right.
And some of the youths that have acquired these skills, they used to come and tell us that they don't have money to start. We introduce them to Lagos State Employment Trust Fund.
Okay. Wealth creation. Oh, great. Okay, so yes, please do.
You see, like we said earlier, youth development is very huge and it's dynamic in nature.
True.
The youth officers at the field, at times, they have individuals coming to them, asking them they want to organize program for the youth in collaboration with
the ministry. Okay.
See, we don't just do program because the image of the ministry and the government
is at stake.
So it is the responsibility of this unit to look into that program because they are partners outside, they are individuals. It is the responsibility of the unit to look into this program if they are in line, and if they are not, they can advise them on how to do it appropriately to meet the needs and yearning of the teaming youth.
All right, we have unfortunately run out of time, but I know we still have the youth centers and playground management, and yes, I would just like you to quickly talk about that even as we say our goodbyes. Can we quickly do that in a few seconds?
Okay,
yes, Mr. Olukosi.
Just like you have said earlier,
yes,
you know, that we have centers across the state.
Yes, indeed.
You know, maybe you may be aware of Olika Youth Center, Samson Barra Youth Center, Abesan Youth Center, they are across Ekpe Youth Center, Badagry Youth Center, we have all across the state. And the essence of this is for the center to serve as a one-stop center for young people where they can just visit, get information, recreate and relax. So these places are equipped with even Ikeja that is very close to us here at Oluwale Mundia. We have Ikeja Youth Center. All these centers are just meant for the young people in that community, for them to visit, recreate, access information, and relax to do a lot of things. And it also serves as an empowerment center for our young people. In most cases, when government want to organize an empowerment program, those are the centers we take it to, depending on the needs of the youth in that community.
Okay, so that could also be a venue for... Okay.
For even for our partners too. If our partners too want to exercise run a particular program, we always provide those centers for them to make it very easy for us to access.
All right, it's been a great time on the show, but at last we have run out of time. I must say, sir, Mr. Saka Abdul Lateef, Director of Youth Development in the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. It was great having you and your team, Mr. Olukosi Julius for Lashayo. Apologies about the name slip earlier. Deputy Director of Youth Development Department, Minister of Youth and Social Development, and also not forgetting Mrs. Orasai Vera, also Deputy Director of Youth Development, Minister of Youth and Social Development. It was great having you three with us, you know, shedding light on this very crucial department and the units rather, you know, because the youth a very, very, very important building block in the structure of society. That's all for today's edition of the show. MYSD Spectrum, of course, will make a return same time next week. Thank you, dear listener, for joining me on this journey of discovery, the journey of exploration. A big thank you to Adeola Olabisi, Director of Public Affairs, MYSD, and also not forgetting Mr. Victor Oteri. Thank you. To our executive producer, Tayo Akole, a big thank you. Dear listener, remember, the cornerstone of a brighter future is social development, and together we can build a more inclusive and prosperous society. Stay tuned for more updates, insights, and success stories from the Lagos State Ministry of Youth and Social Development. Until next time, keep shining your light and making a difference in our community. My name is Akan Usen, your host, saying goodbye for now. See you next week.
Welcome to Train Schedule from Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Traveling using the standard rail gauge is as follows. Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Departs Lagos and Ibadan simultaneously at 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. respectively.